Today we're talking about how to regulate your emotions using your autonomic nervous system. This is part 3 on chapter 17, which is all about self-regulation. Building up neuroception, your conscious, intentional awareness of what's going on in your body is incredibly essential. And it's not even that hard to do. With a couple questions, along with the foundation of somatic theory that you already have, is all you need to figure out the basics of what's going on for you. So instead of you asking yourself, what do I feel? And you're like, oh, I don't feel anything. I guess that's it, right? You then might go, oh, I don't feel something. I wonder if that means I'm overwhelmed. Maybe I'm overstimulated. Or let's say you check and you notice that you're just getting hot. You could then be like, oh yeah, no, my heart is going. I think that's like a fight-flight response. I think I need to go release something. Okay, so let's say you're feeling a little bit of both, right? A little bit of both sides. You're feeling some stuckness, like a little bit of stuckness, maybe some tiredness, maybe not that bone deep fatigue in your muscles that you're just like so heavy, right? But maybe you are feeling some tiredness, right? And you're also experiencing this tension, restlessness, fidgeting. You could be experiencing a freeze or a fawn response. For many people, one of the first signs that they are stressed is their appetite, whether they start eating way more than they're used to, or they start changing how they eat. So they start leaning into the comfort foods. Remember, sugar and carbs feed your prefrontal cortex and help you critically think. So it makes sense that when people are stressed, they might lean on the sugar and the carbs. And also, like I've said before, sugar has dopamine in it. So why not, when we're stressed and the dopamine levels are already very low, why not reach for that external source of zing? Or you might find yourself eating not enough. So it's really common for people when they're stressed for their appetite to just shut off. That is a survival strategy, because if we had a lion coming at us and we need to run, this is not the time to stop and eat. We need to get out of there. So it makes sense that your appetite would shut off. Not so helpful if we are being stressed chronically. So instead of it being a short-term problem that gets resolved quickly and you can go right back to eating, this is a long-term problem, like paying rent or being in the school program that you're into, or the workplace that you're in, or the home life that you have, living under systemic oppressions. These are chronic problems, and your body is always thinking that there's a lion in the room. So it has to pause doing certain necessary things that we need for our health to wait for the lion to go away. And when we're in situations where it's not a lion and it's not going away anytime soon, we have to learn how to manually turn certain things back on or off in ourselves, in our body, so that we can pivot into behaviors that are more helpful. Oh, sleep. That is another thing that tends to get really weird for people. So either you might find yourself oversleeping in the mornings and struggling to get out of bed, or you could find yourself having insomnia and struggling to fall asleep or stay asleep. When we understand what's going on from a physical standpoint, it makes it easier to come at our coping skills and our problems from a sense of compassion and understanding and strategic thinking versus shaming yourself and being mean to yourself, which really doesn't change anything in the long run at all. Building your somatic awareness can be very overwhelming if you go too fast. So I really want to encourage being gentle with yourself. There's no rush, you're not going anywhere, and it's best to start things nice and easy so that your body can get comfortable. You want a solid foundation before you move on. You could start with one thing a day, right? What is one thing that you already do that you like? It doesn't matter how small it is, that's actually preferred. I want you to start with something small. So it could literally be a wall mural that you see on the way to your job every day. It could be exchanging good mornings with the person at the corner store, right? It could be a certain show or certain playlist that you like. Also, at this point, you know how to do the grounding technique by now. So once you're in your nice little moment and you notice that you're feeling good, why not ground yourself into the moment even more? What are 5 things you can see about this little moment you've created for yourself that you enjoy, right? What's 4 things you can touch? What is 3 things, right? So now look at you. You're layering 2 somatic practices at the same time. Something else you could also do if you felt like it is you could do the body scan to fully take stock of what it feels like to fully enjoy the moment. It really depends on what you feel like doing, what your energy capacity is like. But you see how you could play around with these tools, the body scans, so you could feel every single bit of the enjoyable moment, the grounding technique, so you can make sure that you are fully present. And the cool thing about this is with practice, it's not going to feel like you're pulling out somatic tools like, oh my God, I got to be aware, right? I got to do a body scan, right? No, over time, you're going to build up your muscle memory around these tools, and it'll become just stuff you do. Instead of having to do a full scan, you'll just already feel things, right? Instead of being like, oh, I have to do a full grounding technique, you're already going to start launching into, touching things intentionally, smelling things. You start doing the things that feel good without it needing to be a whole step 1, step 2, step 3. You become comfortable using these somatic practices and you fit them into your life and make them special and unique to you. Over time, you are going to be able to notice when your body is having certain responses, and you'll know exactly what you need to do intentionally in that moment. For example, if you're experiencing a fight or flight response, chances are very high that you have a lot of pent-up energy in your body. So how do you plan on releasing that? It's important to be able to notice when you are experiencing high levels of stress, especially if it ends up in you feeling depressed or dissociating or just feeling generally overwhelmed. It's really important to be able to recognize that from a somatic perspective. The reason being is because you can kind of outthink yourself into saying, oh, it's not that serious. I mean, yeah, I'm kind of stressed, but it's not that bad, right? The body does not lie. It's important to notice that as the warning signs and the cries for help that it really is. Remember, in this protective state, your body is in a low power mode, and there's not enough energy moving through your body to support being fully present, feeling connected to others, as well as regulating your own emotions. That's why you feel so stuck and so trapped in that protective state. You are literally learning how to experience and respond to your emotions in a way that goes against how you've probably been trained, taught, modeled, etc., on how to handle your emotions your entire life. This is a new skill. You're carving a new path. What's great about this, it's a way to handle your emotions without that physical or emotional crash that you feel after doing something to release or to manage or to numb your emotions, or the social consequences or the financial consequences or any of the negative side effects that have come from the old coping skills, right? This is a way to kind of revamp how you cope and how you experience the world in a way that has the least amount of negative side effects possible. I mean, I'm not going to say that it's going to be walking on sunshine, especially because life sucks. So you're going to get clarity, and sometimes that clarity is life sucks, right? So is it going to feel like you're tiptoeing through tulips every day of your life just because you are able to be fully aware of your body and you're able to regulate yourself? No, I would be lying to you. But you will have the clarity you need to come to whatever decisions that you need to make that best serve you given what's going on, and you'll know the things that your body needs to meet the moment and to take care of yourself. And nurturing that relationship with yourself in these hard times is one of the most important things that you could be doing right now. I would like to give you some homework. Your homework is to build your neuroception. Notice the little pleasures in your life and take note of how they make you feel in your body. What is the physical manifestation of the enjoyable moments and emotions that you experience in your day? I want you to start small. That's the whole point of this. You're starting small, working your way up. Once you start building your neuroception, your somatic awareness, it will be easier for you to start regulating your emotions. The next part is the fourth and final part of this self-regulation chapter, and it is going to cover different ways to practice self-regulation, like using nature, art, music, self-touch, etc. If you are a licensed therapist and you're interested in learning how to incorporate somatic practices into your work, I offer clinical supervision and consultation sessions. All session fees go to running my pro bono private practice. I'm a licensed therapist and I provide services in New York, Georgia, and Florida. I use this pro bono practice in order to provide free trauma-focused somatic therapy to low-income Black people who struggle finding quality therapy.